Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is going to be another Raid Shadow Legends video. So it turns out, guys, that I didn't plan to do this video at all today, but we just had news dropped that as of Friday there will be a times 2 Sacreds summoning event. So I figured why not do just like a top list of epics and legendaries that you could get that are going to change up your clan boss teams. A lot of people focus on clan boss. It's like the best source of shards, books, and gear kind of consistently on a day-to-day basis that you can do. So rightly so, focusing on clan boss is a really important thing to do. Pretty much when you start to hit Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare clan boss, you'll start to receive shards almost daily. To be honest, you get shards daily of one sort or the other, pretty much. Let's see if I got any yesterday. Come on, for the video. For the video, Sacred. See, we've got a shard. It's not the best, but we've got a shard. Sacred. Anyway. So pretty much daily you get shards. So what we're going to do for this event, I'm just going to go through and pick out my top 10 epics and top 10 legendaries, which are going to change your account for clan boss. Let's go. We're going to start with epics. So coming in, number 10 for me is Grizzled Joel. Grizzled Joel has got nothing really for clan boss on his A1. You actually don't want this to land, really, if I'm honest. And his other move, which is kind of useful, is decrease attack. You probably build him generally, unless you don't have a better decrease attack, you probably build him to not land any debuffs at all. Take the accuracy out of his build. He actually does a ton of damage if you just build him defense, high crit, and with the right speed. So you can actually take accuracy out of his build, and you can rely on this ability. This is what it's good for. He gets a 3-turn increased defense block debuff ability. So you can block that stun from the clan boss. On the bad affinity stuff, you can block off the like decreased speeds and stuff like that. So really cool champ, coming in at number 10 for epics. Let's go for number 9, Doom Priest. Doom Priest is kind of underutilized, I think. Because of her passive, she cleanses a random debuff at the start of every turn. If you get her to go first for your team every turn, she'll cleanse all of the debuffs off your team, she'll cleanse the stun off your team, and she'll constantly provide a passive heal. The heal is not enough to stop you needing lifesteal gear, but it's a nice top-up heal, and she brings kind of a little bit more, but nothing else more, like a bit of increased attack, which is kind of okay. But really, she's in there for this. Passive, which is very cool, and she's got good base stats to keep her alive and keep her going. So coming in number 9, we've got Doom Priest. Coming in at number 8, we have got... This is interesting because I never would have put this guy in there probably 2 months ago or a month ago or something. And maybe he should feature even higher. I don't know. Seeker. So Seeker, along with one legendary, kind of builds the whole 2-for-1 speed ratio teams. He's one of the foundations of it because he's got a speed up, a turn meter increase, which is on a 3-turn cooldown if booked, but he also gets an extra turn. So it's almost like it's on a 2-turn cooldown. He is like a fundamental to a lot of the 2-for-1 teams because of that ability. He throws increased attack on your team at the same time. The rest of his kit's not really clan boss focused, but he's cool. He's cool for clan boss now, so who would have thought it? And he hits pretty hard as well, so very good champion now for clan boss. So we've got coming in at number 8 is going to be one of the lizards, Jareg. The most important debuff to land on the clan boss is decrease attack. Jareg lands it pretty consistently. He's got a lot, so he's got what, 60% chance if you book him out. You kind of need to book him out. But he's also got this ally protection and increased defense. So if you pair him with someone else that's got ally protection, they flip the ally protection between them, and you keep your team alive for a ton longer. Really solid champion. Was in my end game clan boss team for a long time until I pulled Oltan. Also got a nice little passive, so Jareg coming in number 8. Number 7, I mean, I feel like for me he's fallen back a bit. This guy used to be the guy to get for clan boss. He's got a poison A1, steel skull. He's got a crazy base stat speed and stuff, so he's quite easy to build. He's got a cleanse and a heal, and he's got an increased defense and a heal, team heal here. So all of his kit's very good. The biggest challenge is that he takes a long time to get going on poisons. Only a 10% base amount chance to land it. You need to book it. if you don't book it up to this 35% chance, he just lands too infrequently. And other rares are kind of surpassed him now in terms of laying poison. So he used to be the go-to. Now he's like a support, healer, stroke, additional poisoner. So let's move on then to next one, who is kind of one of my faves actually, but we're throwing her up there. I think, what's this, number 6? Sandlashed Survivor. Sandlash is brilliant. Like, people don't understand it until they see it. She is so cool in this game. I really love her kit. So she's got an increased defense in all battles, so she can be your lead. She's got this passive. This is what's so cool. So basically, if someone takes a smack and drops below 50% health, she throws out a block damage on herself and then allied protection on everyone else. So she soaks all that damage up, but doesn't take damage. Really cool ability. I love it. 4-turn cooldown, so you can kind of have a paired up again, like with a Jared or with a Skull Crusher or something like that. So they flip flop the ally protection. Very cool champ. She's also got this ability to decrease enemy buffs, so she can take off the buff that the clan boss puts on, and she can increase your own buffs. So if you're running in like a speed comp, or if you're running increased defense, all that type of stuff, she'll push it on for another turn. Very cool. And then she's just got an A1, which is double hit. So all in all, great base stats. Really, really good champ. So who's next? Yeah. Mr. Poison, a Cult Brawler. So he has got the highest poison damage output in the game, bar none. If you're talking about poison, he outputs more damage than anyone else in the game by himself. If you start throwing other people into the mix, Frozen Banshee's kind of neck and neck, but he's up there as one of the top poisoners. He's in most unkillable teams because of the damage he can put out. If you don't have a counter attacker, he's first on your list. Brilliant, brilliant poison champion, but difficult to keep alive. He's got a low base defense, so that's his kind of Achilles heel, I guess. But other than that, insane abilities. Just throws poisons out there for fun. He's got a passive that puts more poison out there. Very cool champ. So we're going into the big guns now. We've got the big guns. Let me just make sure I'm doing the right order. Okay, yeah. So next one. This is kind of going to be contentious, I think. We could probably pick them up in different orders, but for me, the next one is going to be Tyrant. Ooh, who thought Tyrant was going to be top? And he could easily be top, to be fair. So he's got a decreased attack on his A1, which, as I said, is it's the most important debuff to land. So that puts his credentials really high. And he hits hard. He's got decreased attack. He's all defense-based, so you can keep him alive very easy. He also has got decreased defense, which you can book up to 100% chance to land. The reason why I've not got him top is because he actually loves throwing this A3 out. He loves throwing the A2 out when really you just want it to be decreasing that attack. And I've seen many a team that fall to the wayside because he prioritizes silly stuff. He does have a defense in all battles aura. He's just insane. He's built for clan boss. He's also cool everywhere else, but for clan boss, insanely good. So let's get on to the last two then. So we've got second place, Topolka. Pretty much for the same reason as Tyrell. She's got this decreased attack A1. I prefer her. I think with the increased defense buff you get here, the block debuffs you get here, and a passive which enables one of your team just to get no damage randomly once a turn. It's actually very cool. 50% chance if booked. She's got insane base stats. She's got defense aura as well. Yeah, she's top tier. She'll be in a lot of end game clan boss teams. And then first place, you just can't not say he's first place because he's got this Skull Crusher. It's like counter attack on your team is such an important skill, and it's so infrequent that he's just got to be top in any list for clan boss. Whether it's unkillable teams, whether it's pure damage teams, he's making you do more hits, therefore you're doing more damage, you get more Wallmaster procs. More hits means that you're going to proc your lifesteal gear more often, so you're going to heal up. There's tons of stuff that this guy does. Really good base stats. And to cap it all off, he hits like a truck. You build him with high crit and high crit damage and a reasonable amount of defense. He hits really bloody hard. So I've got my Skull Crusher hitting for over 100k. He actually goes in my team ahead of Martyr for a lot of teams. So shows how strong he is. So that is the Epics, guys. Let's get onto the Legendaries then. Let's get onto the main event. Why are we holding on to Sacreds on a double chance? Because we want some fresh legendaries. So let's go through the legendaries then. In number 10, I'm putting Septimus. This is someone on my wish list. I'd love to get him. So Septimus has got this ability on his passive that just every time he hits, he's got the chance to extend all debuffs. And extending debuffs means that, you know, poison ticks for another turn, decrease attack ticks for another turn. It just gives you that level of safety and the increased damage count. So all of that's very cool. He's also got a nuke on his A2. So he can just slam the clan boss for a load of damage. If you're doing an unkillable team, he'll come in and he'll be slamming him all day long, smacking him in the face. So I just love any champion that puts out crazy numbers, and he's one of those champs. So very cool. He's cool in other areas of the game as well, but he is my number 10. So let's go for number 9. Some people might disagree with this. I don't know. But my number 9 is going to be Tyrant. So Tyrant is another... You notice there's a load of defense-based champions in this list. It's because they're so good. They're so good in this game. So he has got this ally protection, increased defense ability as well. So he's protecting your team. He's defense-based, so he can protect them really well. It's on a 3-turn cooldown. That's important. It means you don't have to get any crazy speeds going on. He does have an HP burn here. The AI of this is a bit wacky. Same with Venus. Any AI on HP burn seems to be a bit weird when the clan boss drops below, I think it's 70% health. But if you manual, you get this on. It's brilliant. If you don't, I guess it just doesn't do it. But he's got this A1 as well, which heals him. So he's almost got like an inbuilt lifesteal kit. Very cool. He's also got a passive that when HP burns out there, your whole team takes less damage. So it is important to get his HP burn on. But yeah, very cool champion. Really one of my favourites actually that I don't have for Clan Boss. So again, on my wish list for Clan Boss. Coming in then at number 7 is actually Duchess. I got her recently. Brilliant champion anywhere in the game. But for Clan Boss, she does enable you to do stuff that you perhaps couldn't normally do. She's got a speed aura, which means that you can slow down your champions and still hit good numbers. She's got revive. She's got protection. She reduces everyone's damage they take by a ton. I wouldn't say she's like naturally a Clan Boss champ, but because of her kit being so strong and because of the reduced damage you get from AoEs within her kit, she can easily fill that role. Easily. So very cool champ. Next one for me then. Again, people might think he should be higher, but I think he's kind of fallen back a little bit. Badel. So Badel Cazar. I mean, he's insane. Don't get me wrong. He's insane. But we're talking about a top 10 here, so they're all going to be insane. He's kind of known really just for this. He's got an A2, which you can book down to 3 turns. Doesn't need a lot of books, which is cool. And he can cleanse your whole team and then put out 2 poisons and put out 2 heals. So I ran Badel for a long time without a healer at all in my team, and he kept my team alive for tons of time, as long as everyone's stacked with defense. Really cool. It means that you can do builds that you wouldn't normally be able to do. Also, he's throwing out poison, so he's getting his additional damage out there. And then he's got this passive, which when an enemy's under poison, the rest of your team do more damage. So it doesn't click in with things like Warmaster, but natural damage will just be increased by 20%, which is a big number if he's got poisons out there. So very cool. Also got heal on his A1. Really good champ. Great base stats. Brilliant champion for Clan Boss. So we're starting to get into the sort of real big guns now. So I'm going to come up with the first of the counter-attackers, who is going to be Marta. Now, Marta always used to be my absolute number 1 champ in the game. But for me, she's dropped down a bit. Certainly when I'm just talking about Clan Boss. She does bring counter-attack. So she's got to be really high. Yeah, she's got to be like top 5 or whatever. And she gets increased defense at the same time. She brings decreased defense here. And she's got a decreased attack, albeit this is not consistent enough to keep decreased attack on. But really solid champion. She's got tons of kits, massive defense aura as well, good base stats. Everything about her kit is really good. And if you pull her, it's like a game changer. Yeah, that's why she's top 5. But she's not as good as the rest of the champs for me. So next one up is going to be my fave probably in the game. Oltan is just so much fun. He hits freaking hard. I've got my Oltan slamming for 160k. He's in my endgame team. He's in my 1 key team for Ultra Nightmare. He hits like a truck. He's keeping up damage pretty much with poisoners. That's how hard he can hit. Massive base defense, good base speed, good base stats. He's just got an A1 that decreases attack, but it's got a very good chance of landing. So he's just like top notch for this role, the best in the game for this role. This just puts increased defense on the rest of your team. It's a really valid skill for Clan Boss. You can book it to 3 turns. So again, you get that cycling through. And then he's got a defense in all battles aura as well. So insanely good for Clan Boss. So let's get on to the big guns then. We've got coming in at number... Am I on number 3? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, number 4 is... Not you. Oh, where is he? Where is he? Oh, he's undead. He's undead. Mashald used to be bottom of the pile. He was a shocker. I had 2 of them. They were sitting in my vault. I was crying every time I went to bed because of how bad he was. He was literally like the worst legendary in the game. They gave him the buffs and he came good. He came good for me. So he has got this same sort of thing that I talked about with Seeker. So he's got an increased speed buff on a 3-turn cooldown if you book it, but he also gains an extra turn. So it's the equivalent of it being on a 2-turn cooldown, which means that you can do stuff with this champion that you cannot do with other champions in the game. It gets your speed going much faster. It's how you can do some of these kind of white whale 2-for-1 type teams. That's what my team is right now. And he just gets you running very quick. He also puts out a leech at the same time. And leech enables you to just remove lifesteal from your kit if you're at the end game. So, you know, this guy brings a ton. He's got fairly low defense. Again, that's his Achilles heel. He's hard to keep alive, but good base stats other than that. And that's it, really. Nothing else impacts his kind of clan boss setup. Maybe a bit of healing on himself, but it's all about this A2, and it's good enough to get him into the top 4. So, coming in 3rd place. 3rd place. People probably will argue this as well. Why not? 3rd place is going to be Draco. Draco is insane. He is insane. He's the number 1 champion for any unkillable team because he's got multi-poisons, because he's got decreased defense and weaken on a 3-turn cooldown, and because he's got an absolute nuke A1. So in an unkillable team, he's the number 1. But for general clan boss, he's coming in at number 3. He hits hard. His poison is insanely good. And he's got the two of the strongest debuffs in the game. Brilliant champion. Love him. Loads of fun. Coming in at number 2. Oh, this is so hard between 1 and 2. Coming in at number 2 is Valk. She easily could be number 1. Maybe she is number 1. Probably she is number 1. I don't know. We're doing it as 2. Crazy base stats. Across the board, they're crazy. She's got a counterattack, which needs to be booked. Really, you really want this 3-turn cooldown. Otherwise, you have to get her in all sorts of speed. But if you can do that, this shield she puts out on her counterattack is massive. It scales from defense. So punch your defense up above 6k. She puts out a massive shield, and it dramatically affects how long you can stay alive in Clan Boss. Like, dramatically. Like another 10 turns in Clan Boss. That's how big it is. She is insane. And that's it, really. That's everything else you don't really care about. But just this ability here is mental. And it's why she's so sought after for Clan Boss, because you just stay alive for an extra 10 turns. Extra 10 turns of damage is a ton of damage. So you move from doing like a 4 key to a 3 key, a 3 key to a 2 key. It's that dramatic. So she's coming in at number 2. Number 1, these two, I'm not sure which way around they should be, really. What even is he? Dark Elf? Yeah, there he is. There he is. He will make the single biggest difference to the average person. If the average person with an average team pulls Vizier, you're probably going to double your damage. When I pulled Vizier and I already had a team of strong champs, I went from a 3 key to a 2 key Ultra Nightmare. Like that. That's how insane he is. So he's got an A1, which is a bit like I talked about with Septimus. It just extends debuffs, extends them, but the chance to land it is insane. Each hit, he hits 3 times. Each hit Unbooked, 35% chance to increase duration of all debuffs. Booked, it's 50% chance. It's bonkers, guys. And actually, that's all you care about. So triple hit means he's going to proc War Master a ton of times, or so Giant Slayer a ton of times. He's better if you manual with him. If you don't manual with him, he's going to do all this other rubbish, and he's going to put silly debuffs out you don't want. It does get a Perfect Veil now as well. I don't know if this was a change or what, but I don't remember him doing it when I first got him, but he certainly does it now. Perfect Veil means he takes less damage from AoE attacks, so he stays alive for longer. And even though he's got a relatively weak base defense, you can keep him alive for a fair amount of time because of this. It also means that he won't be the target of the stuns because he'll be hiding, being a little hidey hole. The only thing you need to be aware of is these 3 buffs will go on all at once. And if you build enough accuracy, which you have to do, he needs accuracy to do his A1, then you're going to put 2 debuffs in that you don't want. So I tend to manual with him until I've got all the debuffs on that I want, extend them up a bit, and then hit auto, and then it'd be fine. But yeah, you do kind of need to manual probably at least until about turn 5 or 6. Depends who you're using. But he's for me the #1 game changer for Clan Boss. Guys, good luck in the 2x summons if you're pulling shards. I'll be pulling shards on my Twitch all weekend, I'm sure. Come and join me, Hell Hades TV on Twitch. I'll see you there. I've been Hell Hades. Catch you later.